All right, so we are going to do the notes from today. Everyone's in our desk. All right, here we go. Actually, so notes on inverse trigonometry. I want everyone doing the notes because it's brand new stuff. And if you didn't finish your assignment, that's homework, okay? But we're doing something new, but it's still trig. Here's how it's new and still trig. Okay, the trig we did the last 2 days is when we find a missing side. But now we're talking about if we have a missing angle, okay? So again, missing angle is going to be called inverse trig, okay? So, y'all remember originally on Friday when we did notes, we called the missing angle theta, that Greek letter, right? So we call it theta, so you can see an x there, you can see a theta there, but basically it will not be a number, it's going to be, a variable that's missing. So, what we want to do is what we always do for trig, and we want to label what on the sides? O, H, and A, right? So let's do that. On this top one, starting at x, which is our theta. Is everyone looking up here? I want you to label O, H, and A. Okay, now O, H, and A is labeled. We want to, as usual, cross one out. Which one do we not care about? Okay, H. Don't need it. So O and A, right? We can't forget. Where is it? We can't forget Sohcahtoa. Sohcahtoa. This is soaking a toe, so it's Sohcahtoa every single time. Okay. So on here, we crossed out O and we crossed out H. So we have to remember Sohcahtoa. Now, O and A is which one? So, ka, or toa? What do you think? Toa, right? O-A, right? If we cross out H, it can't be so. If we cross out H, it can't be ka. It has to be toa. So let's write tan. Okay. Tan. And what's my angle this time? Nothing, right? Or x. So this is weird because there's no number. It's a variable. That's okay. So tan x equals, and then O over A is what over what? So O is 5, A is 14. Now this is brand new, so I want everyone to pay attention. Okay? Yesterday assignment had an x on top or bottom. Do you see how there's no x on top or bottom? So this is a new rule, new step, but once you get it, it's easy. Okay? What needs to go away on this left side? What is next to x that has to go? Tan. How do you get rid of a tan? Stay inside all day, right? Can I help you? Thank you. All right. So here's what we're going to do. To get rid of a tan, we are going to do what's called the tan inverse. Okay? So I'm going to make this easy for you. The easiest way I can do it. Here's the shortcut. You can move tan to the other side, but there's one thing that must change. Tan must become tan inverse. Can you help me out? Can you please? So much so I don't have to record this. Can you just take it out? Thank you so much. Awesome. So when you move tan to the other side, you need to put a little -1 for the exponent. That little -1 means inverse, okay? So the way I would say it is tan inverse. And it goes away on the left-hand side. So here's how we write this. Ready? X goes down, equals, that's what I want. Tan is now on the other side with a little -1 exponent. That's called tan inverse 5 over 14. Bless you. So again, here's the rule. Again, let's do it one more time. When you move trig to the other side, what do you add onto it? A little -1, which means inverse. Tan inverse 5/14. So everybody, in your calculators, you need to know where that is, right? So let's go to a new document. No saving, add a calculator. Now, the last couple of days, trig, all the trig has been in the trig button, and inverse trig is still in the trig button. So press that one next to 7. Now, do you see the second row has all the little -1s on it? You should see it. Okay. So, yeah, so we're going to do tan inverse 5/14. So click this tan inverse 5 divided 14. And that's it. So the missing angle is 19.65. 19.65. Okay, so let's write that down. X equals 19.65. Please put degrees. It's an angle, okay? Either way. You can use theta or you can use X. Doesn't matter, okay? Because you're not actually typing that in the calculator, just the trig part. Okay, so if that didn't make sense, let's make it clear here. Number 1, what are we going to label first? OHA. In fact, why don't you, for all 4 of these, label OH and A real quick, okay? Let's see if you can beat me. Ready? And your mark, your set, go. All right, I finished number 1. Now I'm going to number 2. Actually, just do 1 and 2. All right, I finished 1 and 2. What about you? All right. So 3 and 4, obviously those are a little different because which one are you starting at, right? We'll get there, okay? But 1 and 2, we know what to do. We're going to cross out one of them. Which one do I cross out on number 1? No O. On number 2, which one do I cross out? No H, okay? So let's remember, Sohcahtoa. Bless you. Now, on number 1, what 2 do I have to use? A and H, right? So A and H is cosine. Okay, so this problem we're going to use cosine. So I'm going to put COS for cosine. What's the angle? X equals what over what? A over H, which is 10/13. What needs to go away on the left-hand side? Cosine. I can throw it to the other side if it becomes inverse with a little -1, right? So I can show that. So now I get X equals cosine inverse 10/13. And let's type that in our calculators. Cosine inverse 10/13. Trig. Cosine inverse 10 divided by 13. 39.72. The 5 makes the 1 go up. 39.72. Yeah, I like to round to the hundredths place, so you look at the thousandths place to tell you what the hundredths place should be. So the third from the right, the third place after the decimal tells you what the second place is going to do. If it's 4 or below, it stays the same. If it's 5 or up, it goes. Okay. Now, everybody, on number 2, let's do it. 2 has O and A. Which one's O and A? Right here, O and A has to be T, which means tangent. Okay, so tan, what's the angle? X equals what over what? 11/16. Tan needs to go away. What do? Goes to the other side. It becomes an inverse tan. So X equals tan inverse 11/16. All right, let's type it in. Tan inverse 11 over 16. .51 degrees. Okay, so do you see how it's a little different, but it's not too. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, now number 3. Now it has 2 variables, right? This is a little different, but you can do it. So when there's x and y, if you can find one angle, you can find the other angle. Okay. So let's start with x just because it's alphabetically first. Why not? Okay. So you could start with y. So it would just change how you label OH and A. But you could. It doesn't matter which one you start with. You can get the right answers. So like, for example, if I start at x, here's my O, H, and A. I'm going to use TOA, right, with 10 over 24. But if I started at y, this would be O, this would be A, and TOA would be 24 over 10, which would be flipped over. Say what? Well, except that fraction got flipped. So starting from x, it was 10 over 24. Starting from y, it's 24 over 10. So they're actually different. Yeah. So all I'm saying is it doesn't give you the same answer for each angle, if that's what you're asking. Right, 2 separate answers. But if you just find one angle, it'll be easy to find the third. I'll show you how, okay, or the second. So back it up. All right, start at x. We label O, H, and A. Which one do I not need? H. So we remember, so TOA. O over A is tan. So I'm going to write tan what? We started from x, right? Not y, but x. So tan x equals what over what? O over A, so 10 over 24. Tan needs to go over, so we're going to make it inverse, tan inverse. So x equals tan inverse, yes. So let's type that in, tan inverse, 10 over 24. .62. Very good. Degrees. So let's remember something about triangles. What do we know about the angles inside of a triangle? What do the angles inside of a triangle add up to? 180, right? So if x is 22.62 degrees, and this angle right here is 90 degrees, how can we figure out y? Add them up, and then subtract from 180, right? So let's do that. Let's include the decimals. So we're going to do 90 plus 22.62, 112.62. So that's these two angles added up, and now we subtract that from the total, which is 180. 180 minus 112.62, and what is it again? 67.38 is going to be my y. So x and y are complementary. They add up to 90 degrees. If we had started at y, we would have done tan y equals 24 over 10, and we actually would have ended up with 67.38 for y. Which, if you wanted to try it right now, you'd do, again, tan y equals 24 over 10. Tan inverse 24 over 10. 67.38. Why is it what? Well, I mean, meaning x 90, that would be the third angle, yeah. So let's do this number 4 real quick. On number 4, we have O, starting at x. We have O, H, and A. We don't need O, right? Which one is A over H? Cosine. So let's write it down. Cosine x, listen please, equals A over H, 19 over 34. Cosine goes over, and we get x equals cosine inverse 19 over 34. Let's type that in. Cosine inverse equals 19 over 34. We get 56.03. And then we're going to take that, add it with 90. We're going to get 146.03. Subtract that from 180. And we're going to get 33. All right. That's inverse trigonometry. It helps you find a missing angle.